Hi, I'm Tim Newton from the Krannert School of Management and joined by Jonathan Gandolf, who is the head of marketing with Braxton Brewing. And Jonathan, we're going to talk about your brewing career in just a minute,
Sure.
but you really kind of got into it in a different path than a lot of people will. Talk about your time since you've been out of Purdue since 2012 to now.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, first and foremost. But I graduated in 2012 from Krannert. I had a degree in management. Minors kind of spread across the board. I was international business, econ, marketing, and strategic management. Gave me a really great foundation that led me to software. I worked at ExactTarget in Indianapolis. It was a great place to start a career. We went from like 800 people to 3,000 while I was there. From public to private, we acquired 2 companies. We were then acquired. While I was on the marketing team, we went through 2 rebrands, all in about the span of 3 years. Had this great foundation from Krannert, and then this great opportunity to launch my career at ExactTarget in Indianapolis. Made some great friends while I was there, and one of those, his brother, was a brewer. Wanted to launch a brewery, didn't know how to run a business, went to his brother, tried a business plan. His brother started on it while we were actually roommates in Indianapolis. I helped a lot with that, and one thing led to another, and about a year after starting that process, made the jump full-time, started the brewery.
So when you tell your family, hey, I've got this great job, but I'm thinking about doing this new startup brewery thing,
Yeah.
What was the reaction?
Great question. I was really nervous about that because, my parents, they weren't big beer drinkers or anything, so I thought a lot about that conversation and how it would go, and it went way better than I was expecting, believe it or not. My parents were super supportive, and I think the reason they were supportive was when I was at ExactTarget, they had no idea. They couldn't tell anybody what their son did because they didn't understand the software world. So now, when I go to work in beer, they're proud to tell everybody he makes beer, even though that's not technically what I do personally, but that's a lot more tangible to them, and they love telling that story. So they've been incredibly supportive.
That's really not surprising that you took a different twist, because I know when you were in school here, you were interested in a sports career.
Yeah, absolutely. I came to Purdue wanting to be in sports management, sports marketing. I did the path of Krannert giving me the business side of things, and then I got a job as a freshman in the athletic department. I wanted to combine the 2 experiences to work in sports. I interned with Pacers Sports and Entertainment in Indianapolis, loved it. Loved my time working in the athletic department, and honestly, before my senior year in Krannert, I said, I'm just going to try something outside of sports, diversify my resume a little bit, and almost just check the box and say, not for me, back into sports. Like I said, ExactTarget was an incredible place. I loved the people. I loved the culture. I loved the startup mentality of it. And I ended up going back after graduating. It was too good of an opportunity for me to pass up.
What was it about the analytical side or the analytical nature of what you did there that appealed to you?
So I started, in that environment. I started in a rotational program, which was awesome. I got experiences across the entire organization. That gave me a lot of great relationships and a lot of great experiences to kind of build my career from there. And what I loved about the opportunities at ExactTarget was it was a big company, but it was growing so fast. There was so much opportunity to run to fires, to figure those problems out that nobody else had the time to, and solve them. It's funny, my 2 final opportunities at ExactTarget, my 2 final jobs there, they were both roles that weren't existing when I came into them. They were problems that the organization had, and they were looking for a problem solver. And that's the role I stepped into, and I have so much fun just kind of that, there is no right or wrong way to do this, just figure it out. And I'm fortunate Krannert gave me the skill set to be diverse enough so that no matter what the problem was, I had at least a base knowledge to go into that position and say, okay, I can draw on these skills and combine this experience with that experience and figure it out. And that was kind of the most exciting part for me.
Krannert built your entire skill set. Was there a particular course, particular instructor that stood out as being very influential on you?
Oh man, there's so many people. I'm meeting with some of them while I'm back in town this weekend. I'd say the one person who really stands out, and he didn't even teach a class, but became a great mentor to me, is Roger Stewart. Just kind of on the, not even the quantitative side of the classroom, but the qualitative side of this is how you network, this is how you meet people, this is how you talk to people who are much further along in their career, much further advanced, and be interesting to them. I learned so much from him. I'm going to learn some more from him later this afternoon, I'm sure. But he really stands out. I loved all my econ classes. It was one of my minors. I think if I were to do it all over again, I'd probably double major. Game theory was probably my favorite class, which I took my senior year. I thought was going to be a blow-off class, to be honest, but I ended up loving it and getting really, really deep in the weeds with it.
Let's fast forward then and talk about what you do. What does the head of marketing at a brewing company do on a daily basis?
Good question. So we're still a startup. It's fun. It's all hands on deck all the time. The base of my role is digital. We take digital much more seriously, coming from a software background than most craft breweries of our size. So it's digital, social, email, events. We do a lot of events. We've got a great space. So not only hosting events at our brewery, but also going out into the market and hosting events. Then you've got things like PR, communications, basically the whole gamut of kind of the marketing playbook. But we're still a startup. If we're really busy, I'll bartend, I'll wash dishes, I'll organize, I'll sweep. It's a fun environment to be in.
What's the footprint right now of Braxton Brewing? Where are you?
Sure. Right now we are in Greater Cincinnati, both on the Ohio side of the river and northern Kentucky. We are located in Covington, Kentucky, which is about our brewery is about a 15 or 20 minute walk from the baseball and football stadium there in Cincinnati. But we're just on the other side of the river, so we are technically in Kentucky. We're taking great care of our own backyard in northern Kentucky and growing really quickly in Ohio. We'll expand from there, but we're trying to be really strategic about the pace at which we grow.
All right, Mr. Marketing, sell me on your product here. What's different about Braxton Brewing products?
I'd love to. So everything we do, we base on being born in a garage. It's where our head brewer, Evan, started brewing when he was only 16 years old. And from there, it's grown into this incredible passion. He, at 18, won a best in show homebrew competition in Cincinnati, and that kind of launched his path. But he came to Jake with the idea of a business, and when Jake did a lot of research, we did a lot of research on the brewing industry, who that demographic is. We found this incredible overlap between the same people driving the consumer technology growth or the same people driving the craft beer scene, but nobody's speaking to those two people in a coherent way together. And so that was the challenge that we set out for ourselves. And so that born in a garage mantra all of a sudden became, it's literally where you build and create things, but it's also, it's the new American hub of innovation, right? It's where Apple started, Disney started. It's all these companies, all these entrepreneurs start their passions in their garage, and it goes from there. We view beer as this vehicle for those people. So we open at 8 a.m. Tuesday through Friday. We've got a proprietary coffee blend for entrepreneurs and startups to come in and use our space as co-working. And then if they need a beer later in the afternoon, we're happy to give them that creative lubrication.
But it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly,
right?
Always. But that's what I think makes Braxton different is we embrace that kind of startup world, the technology world. And then our beer is phenomenal. We've got brewers with, I think we did the math, over 80 years of experience combined. And they're just doing incredible things. So it's really fun. We get to run the business and run the brewing team, and we come together on the really big decisions, but the specialists get to specialize, and we're doing some incredible things.
You took a chance as a senior to try something different. You went to a relatively new company, and now you're working for a startup. Do you consider yourself to be a risk taker?
I guess I am. I've always said, this is kind of what I did in college too, do your homework and then go with your gut. Ask the right questions. But ultimately, you've got a gut instinct that kind of tells you right from wrong. I might rely on that sometimes a little too much, but it's not something I set out to do. I don't, wake up every morning and say, what risk am I going to take today? But I'd like to think of it as opportunistic. Leaving, if you will, a cushy software job to go start a brewery. I think a lot of people would look at it as a risk. I did my homework, and I don't see it as a risk. I see how other people see it as a risk, but I believed in what I was doing. I believed in what the brewery would be doing. And to me, it was an opportunity and not so much a risk. So it was the right time personally, professionally, and that's kind of how I'll continue down my career path, and we'll see where it takes me.
If it's not a risk, what's the biggest reward? What satisfaction do you get from doing what you're doing every day?
It's the community. The place where we're at in Covington, there's this incredible renaissance happening in that city, and we get to be a catalyst for it. Anytime anybody's talking about investing in the city, they always say, well, look at what Braxton Brewing Company is doing. And we've got to kind of blaze this trail for that entire city. So that's awesome. And then the people. I get to work with my best friends. It started as a business plan of 3 guys in an apartment. and now we all work there full time. There's some challenges that come with working with your best friends, sure, but it's an incredible joy to be able to spend time with those people personally and professionally.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, where is Braxton? Where's Jonathan Gandolf?
Oh man, tough question. I think this industry is so dynamic right now. It's hard to build out a 5-year plan, but we would love to be regional. You look at Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, maybe Michigan, Illinois, Pennsylvania, that sort of. I think we all aspire to be something like that. I don't know if we aspire to be a national brand or not. I mean, certainly if there's demand and there's opportunity and it makes sense, it's something we'd evaluate. But we're pretty focused on 2016 right now. It's going to be a huge year of growth for us. And then we'll hit some new markets. And 5 years from now, if we're regional, then we get to have fun conversations about what's next.
Okay, give us that website. I know people are interested now in your product. Where can they go find out more about it?
Yeah, braxtonbrewing.com. That is our website. We're active on social media, Braxton Brew Co. on Instagram and Twitter, and then Facebook, Braxton Brewing Company as well.
Jonathan, welcome home.
Yeah, thank you,
Glad to
Tim.
have you back.
Glad to be back.
For Jonathan Gandolf, I'm Tim Newton.